Hi everyone, it's Eric Carter here and welcome to my MacBook Pro SSD upgrade video. And this time, today, we will be upgrading the standard 5400 RPM hard drive on my 15-inch MacBook Pro to the brand new Samsung 840 EVO 500GB SSD. Now this is a new SSD that came out just recently from Samsung, and you can get it up to a 1TB capacity. So yes, this is one of the first SSDs to come out with a 1TB capacity. So this is the one I went for, and this 500GB version, as you can see over there, it retails for around about £300. However, I bought it for around about £260. Now, let's give you a quick look around the box before I actually unbox it. So there you go, that's all the sides, nothing interesting. The most interesting stuff is at the back. So, it's a SATA 6GB compatible with 3GB, if I said that right. Faster evolutionary performance, Samsung data migration software for an easy and simple upgrade, Samsung Magician software for SSD performance management. Yeah, so I get my words out right. 3-year limited warranty, and this was what is included in the box. A solid state drive, manual instructions, installation CD, warranty statement, and installation guide. Brilliant. Now, one thing I'm just going to let you guys know before I actually unbox this is that I am new to this whole opening up your laptop to actually replace a component. I've done it in desktops before, but on a laptop, this is a brand new experience for me, and this is the very first time I'm doing it, and you guys will be joining me for the ride. So, let's unbox this SSD. So here, just cut right there. And there we go, we should be able to get right into the box. And quite surprisingly, no one has actually covered this on YouTube yet for a Mac. So behind it, it looks like we've got some information, but let's first just pop that right over here. And let's take a look. Solid state drive installation guide, most presumably for Windows this is. Samsung SSD, if you want to stick this onto the bottom of your laptop or something. Samsung solid state drive, warranty statement, installation CD, which is what you're going to use to say transfer your previous software to transfer your previous files from your previous hard drive into this new Samsung SSD. Although this is Windows software only, so I'm going to be using a software called SuperDuper on my Mac. And then we're back around to the installation guide, so that's all the documentation you get inside. And here is the SSD. Ooh, I should be careful, but it's actually very small. I'm actually I was very surprised how small this is. And ignore the sound in the background there. But wow, this feels light. It feels like it's just the weight of the metal. Seems like there's nothing really to it. Wow, so this will probably take a bit of weight off of my MacBook Pro as well. So let's hope this is all going to turn out very good. So yeah, now this in performance wise is very, very similar, but not quite as fast as the Samsung 840 series Pro. I was going to get that one at first, the 512GB capacity, but I'd saved myself about £100 going after this one. And from the reviews I've read, and people have actually tested this, and various articles, the speed difference is barely noticeable. So I'd say it's more worthwhile going for one of these, and these do seem to be smaller. So what I'm going to do is actually put this into my MacBook Pro, and you guys are going to join me for the ride. This is the first time I'm going to upgrade a laptop, and I'm actually going to show you guys. What I'm going to do first is, however, is actually copy all of my current data and files from my current hard drive over to this SSD, and then we will transfer all Then we will install this SSD into my 15-inch MacBook Pro. So I'll see you in the installation process. Okay, so I've made an exact clone of the current hard drive in my MacBook Pro onto the SSD, and now what I'm going to do is take out all these screws, and I'm going to actually take off this part of this casing of the MacBook Pro, and then I'm going to replace the current hard drive with the SSD. So let's get started. Now this is a screwdriver I'm using. It has interchangeable tips, and this one that I'm actually using right here is a Phillips 00. Let's just show you right here. There's a Phillips 00 screwdriver bit, so just need to connect that in. This is a magnetic screwdriver at this little point right there. And now we're going to start taking out the screws. Now I'm just going to say this is the first time I'm attempting to do something like this. And by the way, the sort of like durability of the paint job on this MacBook Pro is absolutely terrible, as I've done a couple scratches when I barely even touched it. So let's start taking out the screws. Now you've got to be very, very careful doing this, and I'm just going to take this one out, and then I'm going to speed up the rest of the part of the video where I'm actually taking out these screws. So just take your time on taking these out. Sorry about the cut there, but these few screws were such a pain in the butt that really I just was taking ages to actually get them out. Anyway, all the screws are out. Let's take off the case of the MacBook Pro. And now we're going to, in order to gain access to this hard drive and swap it out with the SSD, we're going to have to take out these screws right here. There we go. Now I should be able to take it out. There we go. So let's just pop that over here. And now we should be able to gain access to this hard drive. So let's take this out. Now be very careful, as there's a ribbon cable right over there. So I'm just going to carefully, there we go, take this out. So this is the hard drive, and I really feel like smashing this thing into tiny pieces, as it is an absolutely terribly slow hard drive. I'm disgusted Apple actually put a slow rated one inside this £1,500 laptop. So I'm just very glad I won't have to use this, but this will be as my backup. So I'm going to put this into a case where I'll be able to connect it to my computer later on. Now, what we're going to have to do, now here is the solid state drive. Now what we're going to have to do is actually, you can see these little holes on all the sides over here. Now what we're going to have to do is refer back to this hard drive, and what we're going to have to actually do is take these screws out and then put them onto the holes on that SSD. Now to do this, what I'm going to have to actually do is swap out the tips. So swap this Philips 001 out with this one, and this is a T6. Let me just show you that diagram right there. A T6. Once the camera focuses, come on, you know you want it. There you go. A T6 screw bit, and it's supposed to be like a star-shaped connector in a way. So what I'm going to do is just take these out. Okay, so that is all of the screws from the hard drive put inside here. So now what we have to do is connect this ribbon cable onto the SSD right here. Just put it in. And there we are, so it's actually connected. Now a little tip is that you can't really see, but below these, where these little screw holes are, you see two holes. You can just slot the two holes in first, and then just lower this one into position, and then the SSD is done. And that's 4 gigs of RAM there. That's two 2GB modules. What I'm actually going to do is in the future upgrade that to 16 gigabytes of RAM. Let's just clear off all this dust off of the inside. So that's it. Now what I'm going to have to do is just put this little bracket back in, and now I'm going to switch the tips again from the T6 over to the Philips 00, and let's just screw these back in. And now what we can do is get the case of the MacBook Pro. Let's just shake off a bit of dust from here. And now we're going to have to put this back onto the laptop, and then we'll start putting the screws all back in place. There we go. So there we go. That is an SSD put into the 15-inch MacBook Pro. And apparently I just lost this little screwdriver, and here it is. So I'll put that into the MacBook later. Okay, so the MacBook Pro is actually loaded. Let's start by loading up something basic. Wow, that just loaded up instantly. Now I know system preferences is nothing, but boy, on the 5400 RPM hard drive, you know, this piece of crap, it was taking about 5 seconds to load sometimes it would take longer, and it was really quite slow. Let's see if I just cross that off. Let's open up Safari. Instant. Google Chrome, which took quite a few seconds normally. Instant, wow. Only about 2 bounces in the dock, barely 2 bounces. Let's open up the calendar. Instant. As you see, I got to join PD Tech HD for a Samsung live stream, which probably will have already been over by the time you're watching this video. Let's see, should I try something a bit more intensive? Let's try video editing software, shall we? Let's try Final Cut Pro 10, which really was a sucker when it came to actually loading up. Hello, look at that, that is super fast. So, it's Adobe Premiere Pro, let's take a look at that. Adobe Premiere Pro has actually loaded right now. This is really awesome. So I'm really impressed with this SSD. I think it was well worth the money, because so far everything seems to be really fast, even just loading up all these kind of software right here. So hopefully this won't cause me any more problems or any more lag like I've been experiencing normally. So thanks guys very much for watching, and stay tuned as what I'm going to be doing in the future. That is really quite strange. What I'm going to be doing in the future, pretty soon, after I've tested this out for about a few days, I'm going to actually give you a review of the Samsung 840 EVO SSD. Let's just bring the box into shot right here. So this SSD really is an amazing hard drive, or solid state drive. It comes in up to terabyte, which is quite costly, but is still, like, you know, really quite cheap, considering you're not paying like £1 or something per gigabyte. You're paying about 50 pence. So I'm really impressed with this Samsung SSD. Samsung have done a great job, and I've got a bit of Samsung in my Apple laptop now. So guys, thank you very much for watching. This has been Eric from ecotman12.blogspot.com. Please thumbs up, comment and subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next video. Take care.